As the 2020 election approaches, there have been growing calls from some in the media for Joe Biden not to debate President Trump. Back in June, an op-ed in the Washington Post declared, quote, "It's time to rethink the presidential debates." In July, Tom Friedman of the New York Times said Biden shouldn't debate unless some conditions were met, such as Trump releasing his tax returns. And yesterday, we told you about another New York Times op-ed suggesting, let's scrap the presidential debates altogether. Meantime, Republicans are calling for more debates than the 3 the Biden campaign has already agreed to. Here's Kellyanne Conway.
I'm very happy to see the president's campaign manager, Bill Stepien, this morning on TV say that they would like to have more debates. I think that's healthy for democracy, particularly when it's an unusual year in so many ways. I think just Americans would love to have more than 3 90-minute opportunities to watch their 2 party nominees battle it out and give you a contrast, give you a choice as a voter. We deserve that.
For a look at whether we'll see any debates between Joe Biden and President Trump, we want to bring in Bobby Eberle, a Republican strategist and host of the 13-Minute News Hour. Also joining us, Lori A. Watkins, a Democratic strategist and former advisor to President Obama. We've got 2 strategists from both sides of the aisle joining us this morning. And as we all know, running a campaign is all about strategy. So, Bobby, when it comes to presidential debates, what do you think is the best strategy for President Trump?
Well, for President Trump, I think exactly what Kellyanne Conway was saying. I mean, we need more debates. We need to get them out there so people can see the head-to-head, especially now, especially in this environment, because we don't have the rallies. Remember how many people were coming to President Trump's rallies? He'd go from swing state to swing state to swing state. People would turn out by the thousands, by the tens of thousands. We don't have that. His messaging is very limited. So to draw that contrast between himself and Joe Biden, the debates are crucial. That gives people an opportunity to finally see them go head to head, since we don't get to see the speech making in the big crowds like we're used to. Go head to head, go as many times as possible. The more, the better for President Trump.
Not to mention the fact that these candidates would essentially be forced to answer some questions they might not have been asked quite yet. And Lori, you know, we've heard from Republicans call for even more debates. Other Democratic strategists have suggested that Biden should not debate. Where do you stand on that?
Well, Bobby was talking just a moment about these rallies that we have here in America, that we need more of them. What we do need is a rally around America. That's what voters need. And I think a national testing plan and having a response that is adequate and that is sufficient right now to 150,000 people dying of COVID, I think that's what people are really interested in. Sure, okay, let's have some more debates. Joe Biden is not afraid to have any more debates. But if you remember, the only person who brought up ever to date that they had a problem and were considering not participating in the debates because they had an untrust issue with the Commission on Presidential Debates was Donald Trump, in fact, never Joe Biden, just for the record.
So why is it that so many Democratic strategists are encouraging him not to debate? Lori?
I think that's an imaginary controversy that's going around mostly on conservative news networks. Joe Biden has never said that he does not want to debate, and I have not heard from within my circles that people are discouraging him from doing so.
Bobby, I see you're frustrated with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it sounds just like Brian Stelter, who's getting hammered over at CNN because his own network, CNN, has run an op-ed saying we don't need debates. Yeah. New York Times just had one. Newsweek had one. They're all in coordination, which is so typical of the left. They are in coordination to push an agenda because they know what everyone else kind of thinks, but they don't want to talk about. And that is Joe Biden is losing it. Dan Bongino was tweeting the other day saying he's talking to folks, and whatever's going on with Joe Biden is getting worse. So the last thing they want to do is get him out in public debating. And so you've got your whipping boys, you've got New York Times, you've got your Newsweek, you've got other people, you've got CNN saying, hey, maybe we don't need this. Maybe this is passé. Maybe they can't get their points across. Believe me, one-on-one
but if
for
I could
90
jump in
minutes,
here.
you can make a distinction.
All right, I want to move
The
ahead.
one that I think is losing here, Emma, is President Trump, which is why they're trying to reshuffle their communication strategy right now and try to say that more debates will be better and that will showcase the president's strength. That's
Joe
not
Biden
what's
has
going to
agreed.
happen.
Joe Biden has agreed to 3 debates, as you say. So let's assume that Joe Biden and President Trump, they take the debate stage on September 29th, when it's supposed to happen. We can assume that Joe Biden might likely try to hit President Trump hard on his handling of the coronavirus. Of course, that's a top concern right now. The Trump campaign maintains that the president scores high, but the Biden camp might say that their candidate could have done so much better, as we've heard before. We know that Joe Biden thought closing travel between the U.S. and China was xenophobic, and he also was holding rallies until mid-March, his last rally in Detroit in a high school gym with 2,000 people. So, Lori, I'll ask this to you. The president has actually handled the crisis in real time, while Joe Biden has been in his basement for the majority of it. What do you think Joe Biden could have done better, bearing in mind that he now has the benefit, of course, of hindsight?
I don't think Joe Biden could have done anything better than what he's done. Look at this president who had a rally just a month ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Herman Cain unfortunately lost his life. We cannot directly say that that is where he picked up this virus, but most people are claiming, due to the timing, that that is most likely where he received that. So holding rallies and large gatherings is irresponsible, and the American public will make their decision in November on exactly how this president has handled the coronavirus. And they will take a look at Joe Biden and seeing that he has been responsible, he has listened to scientists, and he has done exactly the right thing.
And I am going to push back on that Herman Cain suggestion or idea, because we've spoken about it exclusively on our network. The idea that you would automatically assume or relate the idea to where he would have contracted COVID. It's unproven at this point. He did a lot of traveling during that time, so that is truly offensive to even suggest. I know you weren't saying that it was a guarantee, but even to put that out there. Bobby, again, we're going to talk about coronavirus during these debates and potentially what Joe Biden might say he would have done had he been in the role. What do you think the argument's going to be there?
Well, I want to address one thing that Lori said that was absolutely correct, and that is this election could be about holding people accountable for condoning large gatherings. And the people that you need to look at are the Democrats in these states and cities that allowed people to gather by the thousands, by the tens of thousands. I covered a report of a rally in New York City, 15,000 people. It was praised on Twitter because it was a Black Trans Lives Matter protest. It's okay for that to happen, but you get a couple thousand for President Trump, and it's a bad deal. It's no good. We're going to get him. But look at what's going on. They are actually promoting these protests, promoting these riots, getting people together. Joe Biden can't defend that. He can't defend any of his policies. It's only going to be attacked. Whatever President Trump says, Biden's going to be on the opposite side.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Bobby Eberle, Lori A. Watkins, thanks for coming on today, sharing your thoughts.
Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.